Hello you! How are you folks? It's Sunday night and we're here once again with a companion chronicle for Bill Hartnell. For your listening delight, it is Anneke Wills Elliot Chapmen as Ben Jackson version 2.0 playing double duty in various voices in an off-the-wall stage-esque outing with a plague, a virus and a hell of a lot of dreaming. What do you think about this tale? Well, you're about to find out, but before we get to that, let's get to this. It's your panel for this evening. Joining us from Tottenham and looking enthralled as ever, it's Philip Archer. How are we doing, Phil?
Good evening, and yeah, I'm all right. I'm okay.
Right, and FYI, that churning sound's coming for you, Phil, so I don't know if you've got a taxi outside or something.
The dryer, his machine.
Ah, there you go. That explains it. Well, how's it going, mate?
Hey, now, how you doing, everybody?
Good to see you, mate. All the way from Corpus Christi. Yeah, it's a bit that must be for you. Texas, Tim Wells. Tim, how goes it, mate?
Hello.
Good to see you, mate. Joining us how it does on a Monday. He's from down under. He has a fun. AG, how's it going on Monday, mate?
Hey guys, how are you?
Yep. Hashtag doing well. All over Mass, it's Sue. How we doing, Sue?
What up, my players?
Yes. Thank you, dearie. And Jake, how are you, mate?
Life goes on. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, but only it doesn't go on and on and on. Unfortunately, it doesn't for the cast of Class. Good to see you, mate. Yeah. The Plauge of Dreams. Elliot Chapmen doing a good bit of acting here as both Ben Jackson and a new Time Lord called The Player. No, not something that you would see down Soho with Philip on a Saturday night. This type of player is essentially an actor, as he and Polly have to reenact certain things and certain dreams within the subconscious of those who are asleep, as they are infected by this mysterious plague throughout this tale, and thus bring each individual instance to life. What did we think? Opening thoughts. AJ, opening thoughts, mate. The Plauge of Dreams, Anneke Wills and Elliot Chapmen.
Yeah, I thought this was really fun, this one. It was almost very early Doctor, first, second Doctor sort of stuff, with just weird things that were happening. Like, I would have loved to see this if it were made into a TV episode. Very Shakespearean, very loosey-goosey and fun and whatnot. I didn't mind it. There wasn't much technical jargon and whatnot, so, many people could have followed it quite easily.
Okay, cool, mate. Well, how are you, mate?
Well, after hearing the whole thing, it's not a bad story, but at the first half of it, I was confused a little bit, but I actually thought it was a sequel to The Mind Robber, which is the second Doctor story. But then after listening to the second half and then listening to behind the scene, I figured out what it was.
It's a prequel to the
but because the player is like, to me, I think I know who that player the player is, but but it's not mentioned in the behind the scenes or even in TARDIS wiki like that. But it's funny that how this actress was able to do the first Doctor voice, her own voice, and of course the little old lady and all that stuff. That's pretty good. You got to give her props for doing all those voices. And then of course this actor doing Ben Chapman, the player, and other stuff like that. But it's not bad because in reality it's only a two-man crew because they're doing all these different voices. But it stood out pretty good. It was a little bit scary, but I thought because near the ending you realize this is getting near the first Doctor's regeneration. And he has, and then the player is telling him you got to go down, to the South Pole because that's where your destination leads you like that. I don't want to mention them who I think it is to a little on, so let other people talk.
All right, no problem, mate. Jake, how was this one for you, mate? Narration, how'd you find it?
I didn't really enjoy it till much later in the second part. I thought it was a mind fuck. I literally had no idea what was going on.
F-bomb! Yeah.
Polly, Anneke Wills, was it? I thought was brilliant in this. She was so good at it. I thought it was really humorous. I like how playful it was. But for me, I found it like too complicated to the point where I couldn't understand it for me to enjoy it, if that makes sense. So I couldn't sit down in one sitting and be like, oh, I think this was good. I thought it was way too mind fuckery for me, but I liked how it tied into a certain thing that happens in the beginning.
I'm going to get that put on a t-shirt. Hashtag way too mind fuckery for me. No, that's fine, Jake. I understood it, but I can understand it was a hell of a lot crammed in there in terms of all the monsters and shit coming to life. So, fair enough, mate. Phil, how about you? Plauge of Dreams?
But excuse the noise, whatever you can hear. I think it's my fan.
It's stopped now, mate. It's away.
Okay, wherever it was, I apologize. I kind of agree with Jake to the point that it was a little bit. It was kind of because it's supposed to be a story within the story within the story sort of thing, isn't it? So,
if you like,
and that's what confuses the thing out of it, because you don't know what's going on at first. You think, well, why is it? And as you said, as you go along, you get the sense of what's happening. That the dreamers are dreaming through a play, and as they're dreaming, whatever they're dreaming comes to life and causes danger to the populace.
Yeah,
if that's what it is. So to that part, yeah, I found the most important part, interesting part of it was the character of the storyteller, who happened to be one of the Doctor's Time Lord people.
The player, Phil. Yeah.
Yeah, the player. So I thought he was interesting, and the fact that he's older than the Doctor himself as well. So he's been around much longer. I like that idea as well. It would have been nice if his caravan was a TARDIS. That would have been quite interesting to put into it. As for the story itself, it's a bit ramshackle here and there, but it plays out nicely. And again, as everybody says, Anneke Wills played out and done it, but did good duty on the storytelling and her parts as well.
Okay.
But it's an okay story. Confusing too a little bit, but it does have a little charm to it.
All right, fair enough. Can't grumble for 55 minutes. Timbo, you're one for Shakespeare. How did you find this?
Yeah, well, I'd say there's nothing wrong with a little mind fuckery.
Yeah.
I thought, I mean, I'll leave out the obvious comments about David Lynch and Shakespeare, who both live comfortably in my wheelhouse. But yeah, no, what really amazed me about the story, what I really liked about it, was a big surprise to me at the end of it, was the idea that agents from the future are going back this far to try and correct mistakes, or to correct some other skullduggery by other agents. Yeah. In other words, it's not really, it's implied, it's not really stated, but somebody has been messing around with the Doctor's timeline, and somebody's trying to make him, and of course he doesn't want to go anyway, but somebody's trying to make sure that he doesn't go to where he regenerates and mess with his timeline, so that maybe he doesn't become those other fine gentlemen that follow him, you know what I'm saying? So this guy's been sent back to make sure that he goes to the 10th planet. So I thought that was a really amazing twist at the end of the story, which I thought was very clever, because I thought, I wasn't expecting this to have anything to do with the Time War, and that's basically what this is. And they didn't even say that these guys are Time Lords. I mean, they could just be some Sapphire and Steel type characters that run around, correcting time or making sure that time itself doesn't mess things up or something. It was all very clever. That's what I liked about it the most.
Okay, kill me. So, how about you?
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree, Tim.
Whoa. Tone it down a bit, dearie. You're a bit loud.
All right. I really agree with you, Tim. It's amazing. It's like Narvin or something like that. Or it's somebody in the Celestial Intervention Agency. I really liked it. I thought that Anneke Wills was brilliant. I thought that her grasp of the first Doctor's voice, and then she with Ben Jackson, Elliot Chapmen covering those bases and playing Yo the Playa. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was really amazing.
Okay.
And so yeah, it was a great story. So that's my bit to start.
Okay, dokie, thanks for that, dearie. So yeah, Yo the Player, and for me, yeah, I enjoyed it. I can see where Jake's coming from. There's a lot crammed in there, but no, the revelation at the end was well worth it for me, which Tim alluded to. It kind of, wraps it all together in a nice bow if you really want to look at a long A to Z type of, plot point. But I don't know, the Celestial Intervention Agency could be. Then again, as Tim alluded to, it might just be, other branches of the Time War Society. Who knows? But interesting take. All right, basic concept there. A scenario you've got to deal with here, where it being a plague, but at the same time, it was able to weave an awful lot in and out with the story structure. So I wasn't quite enjoyed, but it's only an hour, folks, so it might be for you. Right, guys, as we have only 2 cast members within this audio, any circumstances that stood out for you? Whoa, go for it, mate. What do you reckon?
All right, I'm going to jump in. The player is the one that stood out the most because he was, of course, advising this girl how to remember certain things like that, especially Polly, yeah, especially when she did her voice as the doctor like that, and of course he did it as Ben Chapman. Okay, I'm gonna say who I think the player is. In my opinion, it's not. Remember, the audio doesn't mention it, and even behind the scene don't mention it. I think that the player is the 8th Doctor in disguise, helping his first incarnation get to the South Pole to regenerate, because it is the enemy is the Daleks. Because if you notice when those creatures come in and start attacking, they start, and if you use a Dalek voice, those are the lines the Daleks say, use, and like they're using certain episodes like that, and especially they sound like Dalek, even though it's not this guy you doing the Dalek voice, but if you hear the voice and then you put a Dalek sound effect on it, it's saying the same thing as a Dalek. So I think it's like Texas said, this is part of the Time War. And they were trying to wipe up the Doctor from different time storyline, but he don't regenerate like that. So that's how come the 8th had to go back. In my opinion, the 8th had to make sure his first incarnation regenerates in the South Pole, because if you notice that the 2nd Doctor faces the Daleks twice and almost obliterates them. So that stood out pretty much to me. That's why I think that's what I think the player is to me. I think
that's an interesting theory. Okay, cool, mate.
That's very convoluted.
Mind fuckery.
But you notice that when the player talks to Polly, he talks to her and calls her by her full name, like the way the 8th Doctor does to his companion by their full name. He always in a nice. You gotta listen to it again. Notice the way he talks to her. He does it the way the 8th Doctor would do it.
All right. Well, again, it's sort of interpretation. Fair point, mate. AJ, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I agree with the player, Ben Jackson, Polly Wright, and all that. Really good characterizations. I just like, as the story goes along, the things in the story become more and more real the more they believe.
Yeah,
it's almost like it's metaphysical. Click your heels 3 times together. Say that you want to go home. I thought it's a good magical story. Like, it's what Doctor Who should be. It should be, just blow your mind. But there was so much good.
Hashtag mindfuckery. Yeah.
You can't take it all in one sitting. You got to sit in a few times and listen to it just to hear the little nuances of the story.
Okay. Yeah, this is probably a story that's worth more than one go, because there's a hell of a lot in there. All right, Phil. You remember?
I did like the idea where the player is sort of like, you know how it was like the Doctor being the Time Lord finally track him down and put him on trial and everything. You've got that kind of idea going on with the player. He says, now once they solve the story of what's going on, he says, oh, I'm now that I've let myself open to the Time Lord tracking me down and, kind of find out where he is.
I got the indication his relevant timeline was actually in the Time War. Maybe I picked it up wrong, but...
No, but didn't he say something about, oh, now...
Yeah, that's what I said, because of that. Remember how the 8th Doctor kept running away from facing the wall? So he got tracked down, but got grabbed again.
Yeah, but you know what, Will? I look at the player as a Time Lord in his own right. Nothing to do with the Doctor. Otherwise,
That's not to overthink it. This is why the Time War is such a silly concept, because it's all the time. It's then, it's now, it's in the future. It's all about time. So I mean, it doesn't really work in the way that you would normally think about it. Like, oh, what's the Time War doing back then? Well, it's back then anyway, because it's all about time. So it's in other words, it's an endless thing that doesn't have a beginning or a middle or an end until it's over.
Yep.
Get my point?
There you go.
No, I know what you mean, because right now, as of right now, the Time War is still going on.
Yeah, I see where Will's coming from.
Or in the future, it won't be. But since these are time travelers, it won't be. They won't have an end. It'll just disappear probably from time itself. I think that's how it's going to end up being done with. A lot of people say, well, that's a big friendly reset button. But if they ever finish it, then that's what it'll end up being.
that's why the unit dating controversy was so incredibly convoluted too.
That was just a mistake.
All right.
Right, Sarah Jane was from 1980.
Yeah. There you go. Let's not go there. Did you get everything in there, Phil?
Yeah, I'm done there. But
all right.
Hey, what was it? My bits that stood out. I don't know really. I just thought it was okay. Nothing really stood out. It was just a jumble of things happening that I couldn't really pinpoint.
A great big ball of wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff.
Yeah, that would do. That would do for.
Yeah. All right, Timbo. Who are you, mate?
Well, I would point out that, wow, Elliot Chapmen is a find, isn't he? I mean, because up until now, we've been starting to play Ben, and usually he's like a secondary character. But wow, he really amazes in this. He's really good, and he's just suddenly, you know, does the speech from Midsummer Night's Dream right in the middle there, you know, and the Tempest at the end, which is brilliant. And it's like wow, who knew this guy? But that's cool. I mean, it's cool that they gave him more to do rather than bring in another actor. You know, let him do that part, and that was he got to show off his range there. I would also mention that Anneke Wills is brilliant. There's even a better opportunity to hear what she can do in that short trip that came out last year. It's called Falling, I think, or Fallen. It's the first Doctor story, and you forget you're just listening to one person because she does herself, Ben, the Doctor, and the alien. So it's all really good. And I listened to that a couple of weeks ago, and that inspired me to check out this set because I'd forgotten about it. We get so many releases these days that you forget that they're piling up. So.
Yep. All right. High praise for the two cast members indeed, and I concur with that. Sue, anything for you?
Well, I was going to mention the Shakespeare. Thanks, Tim. That was well caught. I had to look up the Tempest. I didn't remember that, but I liked the player. I thought he first seemed really malevolent, but then he became really compassionate. And that was cool. I was just kidding mostly about Narvin. I was kind of trying to bebop off what Will was said earlier. But yeah, so I really like this story. I think it's great. I think I thought that the theatrical reveal was incredibly interesting, and it was like I was. And Plague of Dreams, kind of like the Dream Lord too, you know.
Let's not get Toby Jones involved, but I enjoyed the conversation right at the end.
Did you get Jake?
I know. It's no matter. I'm just pointing out. I find the conversation at the end between the player and the Doctor, where essentially, I think they mentioned it in the extras. If you go watch the 10th Planet, it's not necessarily the Doctor's choice, but here the choices are given back to him in terms of whether they go to that destination based on the conversation they had with the player. So
I believe, but I'm not sure, that there's a running theme through this box set because I didn't listen to it in order. I went back and listened to the first two after I listened to these two. Yeah. And it seems to me that there's incidences in each story where time kind of jumps or skips a beat or something, and there's a voice echo or something, and I think this is the payoff for all of that.
Right, so it could be I was Fred through the set. Okay, I'm aware of that. So that might become a bit more clearer if we get to the other three stories in this set. Sorry, Jake, my apologies. Anything for you, mate?
I also like the idea of the player, and I agree more with what Philip said about him being a CIA member or something. Not so much the Eighth Doctor idea, but the more I think about it, the more I kind of like it, and it's not so mindfuckery. But
hashtag mindfuckery. Yeah.
I've got that's copyrighted to me, and what Graham said, the interaction between the player and the Doctor at the end was brilliant. I like how it's like sort of teasing what's to come with the War Doctor and all the other ones. I like how he describes the next incarnation, and that's all I'm going to say about that. A lovely ending to a really, really complicated story for me.
Okay, yes, nice little tale before we head off to the South Pole and take a detour and wander into that grumpy old Scotsman.
Which one?
The old one. with the eyebrows. Anyway, with that, guys, open mic portion of the cast, and that's what I bring up before we get this rated, and then we can.
Yeah, for me, the overacting Polly did as the old woman.
Oh, what a morning I've had! Yes.
Yeah.
I gotta give him props. That was funny.
That was a bit over the top, but it was.
That's why there was a joke after it. Ham over
It
actors.
was meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? You know that when she describes the edge of the stage and everything,
Yeah.
it kind of brought me into the Gods of Ragnarok sort of thing.
Yeah.
When she was describing that.
Well, like AJ said a while ago, I think it is very meta. This story, it's like you said. Notice how she goes to the TARDIS, and it's just a false door. It's just a false TARDIS. But then she looks a bit harder, and actually it's there now. So it's like the guy says, the more they believe in things, the more they actually are real.
Yep.
And it's also the writer. If you listen to the extras, makes a good point about how you're basically at home listening to a Big Finish telling a story about how people make stories or whatever, and it's all very like metatextual or whatever. So
That was Guy Adams, wasn't it? Who wrote this one?
yeah,
Guy
very good,
Adams,
very good
yeah.
story.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else, guys?
Yeah, props. They had 2 directors in this story.
Okay, fair. Yeah, well, okay. Yep. Shout out to-
Did they?
Yeah, well, Lisa and Helen go.
No, she wasn't in this.
There was 2
I think-
directors.
Is it? Because maybe she oversaw, but for some reason she was busy, so she didn't do all of this set. They had another.
They might have done. There was 4 in this set, so they might have done 2 each. Could have been that. And that's why you get busy. Your name's on the.
You know what? You hear her if you listen to the end. There's a trailer for the set, and you actually hear her, and she's as if she's a Time Lord, and she's talking to some other Time Lord, and they're talking about somebody messing around with the timeline, but that's not any 4 of these stories. I thought that was very bizarre. It's like it was in the trailer, and unless it's in the first one and I missed it, but I don't think so. I'll listen to that one.
That is weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Unless they're doing what Hollywood is doing, they're making trailers only for trailers, but they're not putting it in the movie.
Well, I thought it was interesting. It stuck out because I recognized her voice. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see if anything comes to that knowing if it's a future release that we accidentally tagged on the end there or what. Anything else, guys? Well, I just leaves it for me to say tonight's episode of Audio Who has been sponsored by #Mindfuckery. And it's that time again.
But we can let our fans know that during the recording of this audio, no animal was harmed in any way. Now, what happens afterward when this is done? You talk to the host about that.
Rest assured, no animals were indeed harmed, and dinner went down without a hitch this week. Thank you, Will. Right, the Plauge of Dreams, Anneke Wills and Elliot Chapmen. Big Finish Companion Chronicles, the First Doctor set, volume number 2, aka season 12. Story number 4. Philip, what do you guys out of 10, mate?
I'm going to give this 8.5 out of 10 because it was a bit kind of flummoxy at the beginning, but it did sort of save itself towards in the second act.
All right, that's admirable. Well done, mate. Jake?
I will give this a 7.5, but a 10 on the mindfuckery scale.
Yes, I'll need to remember when I go on Twitter this evening not to tweet at mindfuckery. Well, what do you guys out of 10, mate?
I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. The first half was a little bit slow and confused me, but that second half really kicked off, and I still believe it's the 8th Doctor doing that, the player.
Each to their own, man. Sue, what say you?
I say I'll give it 9 out of 10. It was delightful to see Anneke or hear Anneke. Like,
yeah, if you saw it, I want to know how. Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't you like to know more of that stuff? That hashtag, anyway.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So
Well, it was minus the tag, but yeah.
So very funny. So yeah, Anneke Wills really rocked.
Okay, dokey. Thanks for that, dearie. AJ, what's the number from down under?
9.5 out of 10. I love how
Ooh.
weird and way out this story was. It was brilliant. Very,
Alright.
like as Tim said, Lynchian almost.
Look out, Legion. We're coming for you. And on that note, Timbo, what do you guys out of 10, mate?
It's an easy 10 for me. Like I said, it's right in my wheelhouse, and I like a good mind fuck. So I give it a 10.
There we go. Hashtag mindfuckery, 10 out of 10. There we go. And for me, I'll give this an 8 out of 10. Nothing wrong with it. The story as a whole. And a nice little companion piece as we zip along over to the South Pole and the events of the 10th planet. And if Philip would stop dying, maybe he can tell us what we're doing next week.
Next week, we're heading back into the Second Doctor territory with a story called The Wreck of the World.
And as Philip now remembers to breathe, yes, The Wreck of the World. The early adventures for Fraser Hines and co. We'll give that a whirl, and we'll see how this one is done and received by the panel. And with that, folks, we are done, dusted and finito for this evening. It just leaves me to say my customary hashtag fuck you fox, hashtag save Lucifer, no, and hashtag mindfuckery. And with that,
fuck you, stars.
And hashtag,
well, yes.
And hashtag we want more Once Upon a Time.
No, you're all right. That's done. Bobby Carlyle's going to be doing a third bag maybe in me, hopefully. So.
No, he's going to rescue Doctor Who after it fails next year.
Oh, probably. There you go, yeah. Anyway, will that happen? Tune in and find out. And with that, guys, please check out our buddies on the wonderful work of the world of the YouTube. You get the guys and dolls that Geeks Assembled with a movie, TV and audio head review. You get Dr. Freedom, his news broadcast, his Omega Files, and the Adventures of Dr. Freedom and Eric. You get Johnny Boy, Sammy Carter, Mike Shannon, whenever he's online. Like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. We're getting the hell on out of here. Be nice to yourself, folks, and each other. And remember, there's nothing like a good bit of mindfuckery. Good night, folks.